issues that I wanted to discuss. All right, there are three important issues I wanted to discuss tonight. And one was, first of all, what made me decide to become a Muslim, to embrace Islam? Why did I change from Judaism? It was really simple. After years of discussion with many of my Muslim friends, I reread the Dead Sea Scrolls for about the seventh time. And upon reading the Dead Sea Scrolls this time, I was shocked and dismayed to find out that the Torah, my canon of faith, had been constructed by human hands. Much of it remained intact, but too much of it had been changed. And the reason it had been changed, was specifically for one reason, one cause, and that was to take Palestine. When I reread them, I found so many of the stories of the prophets were filled with disgusting, nasty, and horrible references. I reread them with a friend of mine, Mustafa, and he's the one who brought it to my attention. We were studying one night, we were comparing the Torah and the Quran, and I was sure that he was going to understand why the Torah was such a beautiful book, and it is. He jumped up and he said to me, Musa, how can you people speak of the prophets this way? He happened to have been reading the story of Noah. And I said, I don't know what you mean, this is true. And he said, no. Well, we went through Noah, we went through Lot, and we went through Yahweh. In going through those prophets alone, I went back to the Dead Sea Scrolls and I found they had been rewritten so badly that I won't say what they say tonight because it's disgusting. But if you want to know, perhaps we can have a study period sometime, or I can go on one-on-one and show you in the Torah what is said. The story of Lot brings into account incest. The story of Noah does the same thing, brings in incest and excessive drinking. The story of Lot is excessive drinking. Yahweh has been defamed so that who is in the mind of Yahweh? Isa. So if you can defame Yahweh, you can then say, Isa is not a prophet, and incidentally in the Torah, Lot and Noah are neither one prophets. And I wondered why they weren't prophets. Because in the Torah, it states they spoke with God, God spoke with them, God had a covenant with them, and they were blessed by God. Now, if those are true, why were they not prophets? Well, simply because if you take the line of both of them and you map it to present day, you'll find that it directly connects them to the lands of Palestine. These were disturbing enough to me, and then I went through the rest of the Torah, and I found Muhammad, peace be upon him, his records, and I knew that the only people to benefit from defaming prophets, denying prophetship, would be the Jewish people. And I was so ashamed of myself in the life that I had led for 59 years at the time. When I got to Deuteronomy, in chapter 18, verses 17 through 18, I just want to quote what Allah said. Elohim in Hebrew was speaking to Musa, and he said, I quote, I will appoint for them, the Jewish people, a prophet from among their own brethren, like you are, and place my words of prophecy in his mouth, so so that he may tell them everything that I commanded him to. Only if you are bereft of intelligence, if you're an idiot, can you not figure that out? And when I read that, I said, how could I chant the Torah every year, many times, and not figure this out? Then I went to Song of Solomon 15, 5, 16 through 19, and in that verse alone, it spells out Muhammad. It's Mim, Hesh, Mim, Dalet, Mim, Muhammadin. Then I traced it back to Biblical Hebrew. And in Biblical Hebrew, you find that it is very difficult, but you will find that Muhammadin is the respect given to the Prophet, peace be upon him, his name. Now, in colloquial Hebrew today, it was virtually impossible to find a reference, but I did. You have to take the root word and go through it and research it. But it says Muhammadan is Arab or Muslim, and that was what really tipped me over the edge. I said, my book has been defiled. It's rampant with lies, and it was horrible to me. But what was beautiful was there when you're busy changing things that you shouldn't change, you will always slip up. And I never, for the life of me, I never, ever, ever believed that the Torah was wrong. I lived by it. I was a halakhic man. I was kosher. I fasted during the high holy days. I did everything. And I'm a Levi. I come from Musa's tribe. And I was so dismayed when I figured all this out. I returned because I wanted to study some more, and I found that the story of Hagar, the mother of Israel, it was, I had to interpret the Torah, the Hebrew myself, and I was not that good at biblical Hebrew, so it took a while. But I found that in biblical Hebrew, Hagar was a consort, and that does not mean what it means today. It means the wife of royalty. And Abraham, peace be upon him, was referred to as Lord among his people during those days. He was, for all intents and purposes, royalty. Further, she was